Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Zumi. So today I would like to share with us on what I would title maybe my life story slash why I decided to leave the African church. So as an African living in Canada, when I talk about the African church in this context, I'm talking about churches, maybe especially Pentecostal churches that have their main or their headquarters in Africa, but they have carried their brand of Christianity out into the diaspora so that Africans that are out here in the West can have the opportunity to gather and fellowship with each other in the way we are used to, in our kind of music and just the way we are used to back home, right? And when I want to make a disclaimer here. When I'm talking about African churches here, I'm not talking about the people that make up the African churches. I'm talking about, because there are, when I talk about the African church, I'm not talking about the people, because there are people in the places I have come out from or that I used to be associated with who have been a lot of blessing to me. They have blessed my life and they're beautiful people and I love every one of them. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the doctrines that we have been peddling in those environments, right? Many of these doctrines, we say we believe the Bible and we are Bible based, but there are just so many things that through scriptures I have been able to prove, and through my own experience I have been able to prove, and through common sense I have been able to prove that they are not really the absolute truth, right? And I don't want to continue to build my life on what Jesus would call sinking sand. I want to build my life on absolute truth. I want to build my life on the solid rock. So on this channel, I've been sharing, scriptural truths that I have learned from scripture and that the Lord has impressed on my heart and what I've observed generally, as well as the things that I've experienced in my own life and just in life generally. And many of the things that I'm sharing are not in line with or in consonance with what these churches are teaching. So someone like me would sound like an heretic to people out there, right? But I have come to a place in my life where I have decided that it's better for me to obey God than men. So whatever I'm going to be talking about, many people may not like it, but I'm not here to please men. I have come to a place in my life where I just feel like I am doomed if I don't speak the truth that I know. Because I was once at a place not too long ago, maybe about 2 years now, where I was lost. I had come to a place of absolute confusion. I didn't know what to believe again. There were so many doctrines, so many things, and it had no connection with my real life experiences. And I just had to move on. So the truths that I'm going to be sharing in the course of this discussion, they are the things that liberated me. So, and the Lord laid it on my heart that there are people that are where you used to be. And if you don't go and tell them what you have seen as you have gone ahead, then probably their blood will be on your head, right? You'll be held accountable for whatever choices that they end up making because you didn't make the truths you know available to them. So, in order not to keep going, I'm just going to start by sharing my experience from childhood so that those that may feel that I don't know what I'm saying, those that may feel that I have not experienced anything, those that may feel that I'm just trying to seek attention will hear where I'm coming from. I'm not here to convince everybody. I just want to share my life story so that those that have understand where I'm coming from and those that have something similar that has happened in their lives will be able to connect and, who knows, find the liberation, find the freedom that you're looking for all over the place. So I've kind of always been a spiritual person right from childhood, from my very earliest memories. And there are two memories that always come to the forefront when it comes to the issue of spirituality. One was that I remember that I used to be so obsessed with washing my hands. I love sketching, but I used to sketch in the sand because sometimes maybe I don't have access to paper, but I just sketch things and all that in the sand. And whenever I'm done, I must wash my hands. Even when other kids are like, come, let's go play, let's go, eat, let's go do this. I'm like, hold on, I need to wash my hands. And I remember that one day someone was asking me and saying, why is it that you are doing this. And I told them that, you know, that Jesus is going to come back one day, and that when he comes, he will come suddenly. And maybe when he comes, he said that everybody, that only those that their hands are clean are the people that he's going to take with him back to heaven. And of course, I was sure I didn't want to miss heaven, so I always made sure my hands were clean. Of course, that was not the meaning is not literal, but I guess it helped me a lot with my hygiene as a child. So the other experience or memory I have is, I remember that when I was in primary one or grade one, as some people call it out here, there was this my class teacher lost her husband, and so for about a month or more, she wasn't coming to school. But then one night I had the dream and I saw her. She came to visit, you know, and when she came, she was wearing a polka dotted gown. And you know, in our school, sometimes teachers bring things and they share, or maybe they sell or they share amongst each other. So in that particular day, when she entered our class, she came in with another teacher, and they came in with dried fish. Like, there's this dried fish we eat, like Nigerians or Africans will know that dried fish, and it was on a stick, and the fish, they were very big, so they were pulling it out. So maybe about 4 or 5 big fishes on the stick. So they were kind of, each teacher would take one. They were sharing it among themselves to, you know, so they will buy it together, right? So when they finished pulling it out, she now took one of the sticks which had some fish, dried fish sticking on it, and she was eating, and she was singing, sweet, sweet, sweet banana, sweet. And everybody was just laughing in the class, and we were happy to see her. Do you know that I went to school the very next day? And towards the end of the day, this teacher walked in wearing the exact same polka dotted dress, and she came in with that same teacher I saw her with, and she came in with the fish, and they shared the fish, and we were all staring. I was like, is this a dream, or is this real life? I was just in grade one. And after that, she brought out the fish, the stick of the fish, and she took a bite, and everybody started laughing. I couldn't even laugh because I was shocked. And then she started singing that same song. Can you imagine? So that memory itself, I'm just trying to say that I have always had things like a love or an interest in the spiritual, right? So, and besides that, I've also, there's this part of me, like, I believe I'm very talented when it comes to singing. I love singing, and I compose songs, right? I do craft, I sketch very well. I love drawing beautiful faces. Maybe I would show you guys a picture if possible. I love drawing beautiful faces just from memory. I love reading, even as maybe by the time I was 13 years, I've already finished reading the complete works of Shakespeare, because my dad had a big library, and he used to, you know, give us books to read, and after reading, we would explain to him. And I was reading these complete works of Shakespeare, of course, in Old English. There was nothing I didn't read. I just love reading. So I know why I'm mentioning this. So there's an aspect of me that I love things that are intellectual. I love things that are beautiful, aesthetics, right? Aesthetic. And then, but one thing also about my childhood that I think it would be important to mention at this point is that my dad was a very strict disciplinarian. And kind of, he had, my parents' marriage was not the very best, so they were always having issues, misunderstandings, fights. My mom had to leave lots of time and all that, right? So by the time I was around 8, she finally had to leave because they were just, you know, going to harm themselves. So my dad, I believe he had good intentions, but he was very strict disciplinarian, and he was not very kind with his words. So he found ways to not just discipline us, but he didn't really praise us when we did the right things. He was always bashing at us and speaking down at us and all that. And I and my sister especially, we lost a lot of our self-esteem. We felt worthless and all that and all that. Okay? And I remember then as a child, I used to always pray that my mom would come back. That was another aspect of my spirituality. And my mom used to sneak in books for us. We were not allowed to see her at all. Even when she would come to our school to see us, my dad would spank us or, you know, punish us very heavily. So, but she always found ways to send us Christian books and all that. So we kept in touch with the spiritual side. we're always learning about God, about what is right and what is wrong. So, but then by the time I was 13, my father finally died. And even by the time he died, he said that he didn't want my mom to come back at all to our house. But of course, in the end, after many years, she ended up coming back to live with us. After he died, we had to move to where she was living to live with her for about 3-4 years, and then after that we had to move back to my father's house. Anyway, so by the time my dad died, let me not run ahead of myself, by the time he died, I was 13. He died when I was 13, and my eldest brother was just 19. But it was at that point that I gave my life to Christ, that I really came to a place of decision and said, you know what, I want to serve God for the rest of my life. And at that point, when I gave my life to Christ, I joined a Pentecostal church. That was where my mom was attending. And we immediately became very active. So at 13 years, I became a church worker. I joined the youth singing group initially, and then later on I joined the choir, and I was a lead singer in the choir. It was as if I was singing almost every Sunday, right? I joined the evangelism group, I joined the drama group, I joined all manner of things, and I was very shy, but somehow, because of my desire to serve, I joined as many things as possible. Okay, and I was in church almost every day. Myself, my elder sister, and my younger brother, we were almost always in church. Mondays Bible studies, Tuesdays or every other Tuesday workers meetings, Wednesdays midweek service, Thursdays choir practice, Fridays one Friday a month vigils, Saturdays choir practice, Sunday church service, 2 services initially, and so on and so forth. So I don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to try and make it a series, and I know why I'm trying to come out here and say all these things. Of course, it's always not comfortable when you have to be vulnerable and talk about yourself in front of the whole world. You don't know who is going to get into their hands. But why I'm sharing this is because I want to lay a foundation so that if you are having doubts, you are hungry for God, and you've been questioning what is going on in the churches, and you come across this video and you're like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe, what if she's saying the truth? But you don't want to listen to someone that is just like from nowhere, she's coming out and saying things. I thought that this video might be helpful. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be real. I want to share with you all how it has been for me and how I came to this decision to live in the African church. So I hope that you find this video interesting, and when I make the next video, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below and also in the comment section so that you can follow through, and at the end of it all, you can feel free to please leave your comments. So thank you so much for your time, and until next time, God bless you. Bye.